I'm going to give this just a second and see if it gets going, because keep in mind there's like a 45-second delay between what I do here in the video and what you guys see. So it looks like we are live. I had done a video the other day doing some homemade alcohol inks, and we did some blue ones, and I actually just posted the results of those as a already recorded video. I didn't do it as a live because I did it the other night when we had some people at the house and it was a little bit of chaos. But when I did that, I went ahead and made some of my own in brown. So I did the same process. I did 2 Sharpies, 1 Sharpie. We've got our default. This is Teakwood by Tim Holtz. And then I experimented with the Sure-Rights brand Sharpie again, which in the blue worked. In the brown, it looks very purple in the bottle. So I'm not sure how well that one's going to turn out. We will see. And then I tried to do a bronze sort of shimmery Sharpie that I thought it kind of looks brown in the packaging, and I thought, well, it'll create like a nice metallic to it, and it instead is like clear and orange. So I don't think this one's going to work. In fact, I don't think I'm going to even try it, but I may try it just on the bottom of the cup, just for the sake of seeing what it does. So we are going to wood grain this one just to experiment and see what it does. So if anyone's on, feel free to say something, but I just figured I'd see what you guys, how it worked. And I figured I'd do it live. So I'm going to, and these bottles that I mixed these into came from Amazon because they already have, first of all, they have a child lock on them, which I probably don't need. But then they have a tip very similar to the ones that we get already on the alcohol inks. So I figured that was worth a try. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just see what the Sure-Right does on the very bottom. Tammy, this is the outcome of the brown, of the blue. I just posted as an already done video, but then I did the same thing with brown, and this is the outcome of the brown. So I'm going to see what happens with this Sure-Right one. It looks really purple to me. I don't think that's going to turn brown. But we'll leave a little bit of it on the bottom. Yeah, no. That one's purple. So the Sure-Right brown markers definitely don't work. I wouldn't do it. It turned out okay in the blue. It was just very faint. But in the brown, it's a no-go. And before I even worry about it, I'm going to try this bronze. But I just don't think it's going to do anything. I don't think it's even going to create a metallic effect on top of something. I think it's just going to look like clear alcohol smeared it. Yeah. You don't even see the metallic pigment. So those two were a bust. But let's see what happens with the Sharpies. So I'm going to do the 2 Sharpies. The 2 Sharpies are in this one. I did label these. And then the 1 Sharpie's in this one. Just to see what happens. So if you're looking for the outcome from the blues, I did those dripped in epoxy, and the video results of those are already posted. But we did the exact same process with these brown ones, but I just wanted to see what it would do as a wood grain. So just pure curiosity. So I'm going to do a line with, this is the Teakwood by Tim Holtz. I'm going to consider this kind of my control, my default. This is my one I use the most. And as you can see, I did not do a great spray paint job on this. I was not terribly worried. I just wanted it to get spray painted so I could see what it did. All right, so that's kind of our control. That's the Tim Holtz alcohol ink, how it covers. That's our control. Let's see what it does with the 2 Sharpies. So it's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit redder. You could probably darken it up using a little bit of another color or a little less alcohol in it maybe. I'm not like offended by that brown though. It kind of looks cherry. It seems to, like, texture-wise, spread very similarly. The drops are a little bit bigger, I think. Let's see what it does with just one Sharpie. So with just one Sharpie, your color is not quite as concentrated, it looks like. It definitely, you would definitely want to do multiple coats if you're doing just one Sharpie. It's like it didn't get into the, let's do them side by side. So at least in the brown, there's a bigger difference between one Sharpie and two. Or if you're wood graining it, there appears to be a difference in 1 and 2. In the dropped, it didn't seem to make as big a difference. I would be curious if adding like just the tip of a black Sharpie would help darken this up a little bit and get it closer to that color. Because I really like this wood color. I think this is pretty, don't get me wrong. I would use it for other stuff. I just don't feel like I'm getting the same as I get there. That's just my opinion, but let's see. It'll be a good experiment to see what this does under epoxy as well, and I'll try that. I mean, I don't mind it. I find that the Tim Holtz, I like the teak wood, but I find that the espresso turns green under the epoxy. So I'm curious to see if this will turn under the epoxy. But there you can really see the difference in the Tim Holtz. It's a much richer brown. And that might just be a case of playing with the color. We might just have to add, these browns turned awfully red. Maybe we add a little bit of black, or even a little bit of some green in there to help kind of cut down some of the red. Might work, because it just does, it looks very red. But it could be a good contrast, at least with your others. I don't know that I would do the entire cup in this one yet. I still want to fiddle with some colors and see. I also don't feel like I'm getting as much brush texture, and I don't know if that's just a formula of the color, but I feel like I get really good brush texture with that Tim Holtz, and I don't feel like I'm getting it as much with the Homemade. So, I want to fiddle some more with the colors and see if I can get it to a color I like better. I'm thinking it either needs some green or some black to help darken it up. It just, one Sharpie definitely isn't going to cut it. Over here on this lighter side, it just looks like brown paint. But two Sharpies I like for like a redwood or a cherry wood, but I think I'd want to darken it up a little bit. Oh, that was the wrong cap. To do everything with it. I may use this one that's one Sharpie and add some more to it to fiddle. Try some black or something with it and see if I can get it darker. These were the blues, just since you guys are on and asking, and this is kind of a experiment cup anyway that I'm probably going to end up stripping. This was the blue. Oh gosh. Okay, this was the one that was 2 Sharpies. I did not try it with a brush, but we'll see. I just did it in epoxy the other night. Keep in mind it is mixing with a little bit of brown because I didn't wash this brush at all. So I did 25 mils of alcohol with each 2 Sharpies. I might take that down a little bit. I think the 25 might have been a little too much. This was one of the ones that was paint that we thought we had experimented with. And I think I had done that before the live. Yes, that tumbler is spray painted white. It's just basic. I think that one's Krylon maybe. It might be Rust-Oleum. It's whatever was in my garage. It's white or like primer paint all in one. So this one's the one that was done with paint. And so you do have to shake it up each time. It settles. But let's see what it does with the wood grain effect. Because I kind of liked the effect when it was dripped in the epoxy. But I think it's going to be way too light brushed on. So using the paints may be worth it if you're trying to like add depth as another layer. If you're mixing it with some alcohol ink, like if you're doing that beach or the ocean and you just need some more shades of blue to kind of mix in, I like it. I just don't know that the paint by itself covers well enough. This was that sort of teal-y one. I forget exactly what it was called, but so I'm just shaking these because the acrylic is separating from the alcohol until the paint looks mixed in. Oh, that was a big drip. Do 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 do. Like I said, this is a experiment cup anyway. So the color's pretty vibrant if you were going to drip it in the epoxy. And you guys can look at that video to see. I just posted it. How it looked like in epoxy. But I don't know that I would grain with the paint. Then again, I also didn't try it with brown paint. So who knows? Maybe with brown paint it would have been more effective. I don't know. But overall, for you figure the cost of a Sharpie, if you don't already have them, is like maybe $2. I don't know. You can find the 12 pack for like $6. So maybe it's not even $2. Maybe it's 50 cents. So you've got $1 of Sharpies and I don't know, 25 milliliters, and you get 900 for a couple bucks. So you've got $2 into a jar of alcohol ink. I don't think it's a bad turnout. I think it's a good option for adding more depth for sure. So, does anyone have any other questions or anything else they want to see us try with the alcohol inks? I'll give it a few minutes. I'm not sure who else is still on, if they have any other questions they want to see, but and since I didn't do it in epoxy on this cup, it wouldn't move. Like, I could add heat to it, but it's not going to move. I could add mixative. It's not going to move. But you can watch that other video and see where I did it with that. And it moved and swirled actually really well. I was really pleased with it. So I'm going to probably just strip this. Well, I may wait to strip it because I may try and soak this one Sharpie in with some... What do you guys think? Poll. Add some green to it or add some black to it? It looks very red to me, so I think it might need some green on top of some darkening. But what do you think? Post below. If you're watching the replay, feel free to post below too, and we'll catch it. Ignore where I've now run the other alcohol into it, but I'm just trying to see it in the different light. I'm thinking it needs a little bit of green. Who's got a thought? So this is definitely not the end of this experiment. I don't think I like them. I like them a lot in the epoxy. And I certainly like the price better. So this one that was this bronze. So don't try the metallics. They don't work if you're just tuning in. This was the bronze marker. It's just clear orange now. It didn't work. And the off-brand worked fine for the blues, because you can see that in the other cup. But I wouldn't use the Sure-Rights brand in the brown because it's purple. And if you just tuned in, that was the way the Sure-Rights ended up. So I would skip that. I'd splurge on the name brand Sharpie in this one. Are there any other questions before I end this live? And I'm actually, if Katie's okay with it, I'm going to come back in just a second, and I've got this that I want to get glittered. So I was going to come in. I was just going to do it as a separate live so that when people go back and look for it, they don't have to find them together. So shoot me some comments if you think green or red to help even this out, this super light one out, or green or black. I think it's red enough. But even in the one that was 2 Sharpies right here, I feel like it still looks a lot redder than this other one. So I think I would like to see maybe some green in it and help make it a little bit more brown. I don't know. Leave me your thoughts on that. And I'm going to go ahead and end this, and then I'm going to be coming live again in a second and glittering Kid's Sippy Cup, actually.